thing is, I was actually really trying to do a whole lot of homework to see if anybody really addressed this on a deeper level, and not many have. It's almost like they're scared to touch it. But let's go ahead and do it. Are black women hard to approach? Rom, Rom knows it's easy. He ain't tripping. He ain't tripping.
Well, you know what, man? See, that's the thing, man. At the end of the day, women are women. You know, maybe it might have been that way in a certain time or something for certain races of men. But the thing is, you got women of all races who, out here tatted up, they're in the streets, everything, talking a certain way. And then you got some who on some bougie, high class stuff. It just depends. If the woman feeling you, she feeling you. If she not, she not. Because,
Yeah, I
you
agree.
got some brothers who say, well, yeah, the white girl's easier to approach, but they going to tell me they ain't been rejected. Meanwhile, there's some sisters sitting over there saying, damn, she's like advertising. It just depends, man.
Yeah.
Who the woman feeling? I mean, seriously, and only way somebody gonna find out, they gotta go outside.
All right, hold up. Let me go ahead and let me set up the pins real quick. Let me set up the bowling pins, and they're only going to throw the ball to Locario.
Yeah.
All right. So every video they talking about, but y'all must not be hollering at black women. And I noticed that shit, especially under a lot of your videos, Locario. They always go there and shit. I made a video called "Hollering at Black Women Are Easy," and then EO made a video himself a while back addressing how black girls are easy to holler at. It's like so easy, but now we need to address the type of men that are having the issues here. Obviously, there are black men, and it's funny because you made a video recently doing a reaction to a young brother talking about how social media is basically giving these ladies the upper hand, and obviously he must be talking about somebody black, so it's obvious.
Right.
Now, Kanye is having issues with Kim, non-black. Tyga, if we revisit the incident, he has like a domestic violence case, but I think it got thrown out against a non-black woman.
Right.
Tristan Thomas, he has issues with non-black women, just knocking them up and dipping.
Right.
But everybody else who's pretty much seems to be in a relationship with a black woman seems to be a-okay. But apparently out there we still have a lot of brothers that are just like, dude, I'm done with sisters and yada yada yada, woo woo woo. So, Mr. Locario, what have you noticed about which type of men, in your opinion, are having the hardest issue with the black woman in modern day?
Yeah, I think what it is that guys just kind of they go off of their own perspective, which makes sense because they're just living their lives or whatever. And then so if the main women that they're talking to is black women and they're having trouble getting women, then the obvious thing is they're like, well, black women are harder to get with. And then they also assume that because of the stereotype of what another woman from another race would be, or they hear guys saying, I'm flying overseas to get another type of girl or whatever, they hear all these things. So they assume that it's going to be easier to be with a woman from another race. But what people don't understand is that she's a woman first. So
exactly.
Before she's her race and even her culture. So you're a man first. What's going to happen is you'll get more cooperation, you'll get more women who are attracted to you, and you're going to get more favorable outcomes with women, period, whether you're, dealing with black women or not. So you might have women who, even for example, this is why there's a rise in, they had MGTOW and Red Pill and stuff like that, because MGTOW and Red Pill, truthfully, was like white men created that type of stuff. You understand what I'm saying? They created that because they were having trouble with white women.
Exactly.
So it's like whatever guy is having trouble with whatever woman, they're going to attribute it to, oh, well, these women are like this and these women are like that, and thinking that it's easier to get another woman from another race. And I think sometimes what happens is this. It's not that it's easier to get another woman from another race or they're going to have an easier time. It's just that in their mind, they think they're going to have an easier time. So then they present themselves as a different type of guy talking to those women. They already come into with positive energy versus, oh man, this black girl look like she don't have an attitude. You know what I mean? So I think that happens sometimes too,
And I agree with that, because one thing when interracial couplings and stuff, you put your best foot forward. They don't see who you really are. But then once you get comfortable, you'll see it. And I know this from personal experience and shit. I've dealt with Japanese women, Korean, white, Hispanic.
Right.
And yeah, when you first deal with them, everything cool. But then at the end of it, it's the same old woman. It's just the same thing. It's whether your personalities click or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I would suggest to these guys, if they really feel that way, okay, go deal with other women. Go find out. That's just simple. Go find out. Because I've known some guys, even some guys, I don't have any issue with dudes going overseas, but I personally known some dudes who married some women from overseas, and then as soon as they got over here, got that green card, they changed up.
Right.
You know, seriously, I don't care where the woman's from. And I've dealt with women all over the world. Literally. And I mean, in relation, lived with a Japanese woman. And then at the end of the day, you just like, well, damn, it's the same shit. Because it still come down, do the personalities click.
Right.
But see, what these guys need to do is go find out. I mean, seriously, we ain't gonna say, oh, just stick with the sisters if you having problems. Okay, go spread it out. You go find out. You know, and even if you meet somebody of another race who's better, that still don't mean, oh, well, these other women were bad. You found somebody you clicked with. That's just a reality in this world. Right. It's like who you click with. So I would say don't limit it, because you never know what race that woman's going to be. Don't go into it like, oh, well, she's going to give me a problem until you talk to her. You don't know. There's a lot of times. I even did a video recently say, hey, sometimes you got to go for it. Because I talked about, and you know, I ain't big on promoting approach or anything, but I say you got to go for it anyway sometimes. Because what if the woman, I even shared a time, and this was a Hispanic woman in college. And she didn't say anything to me, no signals, nothing. And one day I just happened to speak to her, and she was receptive as hell. You got to go for it. I mean, that's all to it, no matter what. It don't have any preconceived notions what a woman's going to do until she does it.
Locario, how many times have you seen brothers pop out a sister and the first thing they do is start lying?
Right. Oh, yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens.
They just start lying, and then they wonder why they get like a bad vibe from a sister. Now, most sisters are usually gamed up by older brothers, uncles, and some daddies. I know it's all over the place that, you know, a lot of black women are missing their dads in their life, but they keep on forgetting that there's a lot of them roaming around who did have that male figure in their life who pretty much gave them that game and everything, right? And so now they get mad when they get called out for running game. And you know what? Let's go ahead and speak on that for. Let me throw this one at you, Locario. Let's speak on this one. Is there a difference between running game and having game?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like, see, when you talk about running game, a lot of times people look at it in the sense of trying to get over on someone. You know what I mean? But having game is just really a strategy to get what you want, but will also be something that's authentic, that works out for all parties. You see what I'm saying? So game is more so like, well, I'm doing a certain thing just to get my advantage at the expense of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Or at the expense of whoever. Well, having means that you're able to accomplish what you want with everything flowing in a direction to where, you know, things will work out not only for you, but for everybody else in the situation. You know what I mean?
And I got to throw this one at Rom. Rom, you and I are one of the few people that actually will have conversations with black women on our platforms. I remember you were speaking to one sister back in the day, of light-skinned sister, very pretty too. I think she got recently married not too long ago, if I remember.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny about it. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but Rom's wallet must say "bad motherfucker" on it. Because it was amazing just sitting back how you were. I wouldn't say you were low key flirting. You were just being Rom, like you were comfortable with yourself talking to the sister, and the sister was just, you know, she was very receptive and everything, and you know, she was smiling and everything, like she was feeling it. So, Rom, does it really take the gift of gab or just good character or just being like confident in yourself to like throw something out like that at a sister? Or is that mainly really what a lot of these fellas is having trouble with when it comes to the sisters? Because the sisters smell that blood like sharks in the water, and then it's like, keep it going.
Nah, they having trouble because with sisters, man, and this is something I've known, you just be normal, just have that conversation. Really with any woman, just have that be who you going to be and everything. You know, just be yourself. Just talk to them. Shoot, talk some shit. Just
Mm-hmm.
talk to them like they normal. You
Mm.
know, and just flow with it. Don't think too hard about it. Too many dudes think too hard. It's like the approach scenario again. You see somebody, what I always say, the damn principle. I tell people, don't think about it. I tell men, don't think about it. If the word damn comes in your mouth, just go holler. The worst she can do is say, get the fuck out of her face. That's the worst. That's the worst she can do. But at the same time, she might be receptive as hell. But then just flow with it. I mean, okay, like when I was talking with her, and in all fairness, we had a kind of a FaceTime before that even happened. So there was already a flow to it and everything. And me and her are good. Yeah, you know, I congratulate her on her marriage and everything. So, but we were just talking. I mean, you just flow with it, man. Women are entertaining, man. It's like, don't make it like hard. Shoot, they are fun. I mean, I don't care who it is. If a dude don't go into it thinking, oh, this woman gonna be a pro, she gonna do this, and just flow with it and see what happens. Shoot, you gonna get something out of it, even if you ain't really trying to get no pussy out of it. It
Right.
could be just you just flowing with it, but then sometimes she'll be the friendlier one, and she'll start dropping breadcrumbs. But you got to be cool, like, man, she a woman. She won't bite it unless you want her to. I mean, what's the deal? You know?
And Mr. Locario, let's go ahead and get into your business real quick. Because I know you got a history. It's like, yeah, you have a non-black wife right now, big deal, and a girlfriend, but you've hollered at black women before. You even said it's like you hollered at black women, but you hollered at certain black women that you were giving game to. So it's not like you were looking for choosing signals, and you also deemed that, yo, you had pretty much success.
Right.
You know, so you mentioned in a past video, the woman you married is because she was with your program. And you guys have been straight ever since. Really. So really, when you hear these brothers talking about, you know, complaining that sisters are harder, do these brothers even have a program, or are they just trying to smash, and that sister is just basically, they can feel that vibe and they just not with it?
Well, the thing is this, man, also too, is that once you know, it's funny, like once guys are out there actually interacting with women, right? You might see subtle differences in women from different racial backgrounds and you know, and cultures and stuff like that. It's subtle differences here and there because they grew up a certain way, they were brought up a certain way. So there's going to be little differences, but the majority of what you're going to experience is still you're experiencing a woman. So what happens is that, again, like if you're a man who knows how to deal with women, just in general, you should be fine dealing with women, black, white, or whatever, and different. But this is the thing where a lot of these guys, the reason why it's not that they're having issues is not necessarily because, you know, they might just want to hit it and the girl might want something else, or, you know, they want, like, I don't know, like a relationship and the girl's not, she thinks he's corny or whatever it is. Most of their issue, really not, and I keep trying to tell guys this, right? Most of their issue is they are not really grounded in what they're about. And so therefore it's hard for them to actually attract the women that they want, whether she's black or white. Let's talk about just black women. The reason being is that because the guy is not grounded in what he's about, right? He doesn't have anything to stand on for the woman to follow and for the woman to respect. So therefore, he tries to interact with a woman, with this black woman, she's going to be like, all right, you're there, but I don't really feel like you, because you're not really fully feeling yourself like that. You see what I'm saying? So you're not really feeling your stuff. So it's like, how is she going to have something to follow and feel safe with, or feel secure with, or feel like she can make something happen with, if the guy himself doesn't actually feel or see himself as that type of dude? So I think it comes from the guy first having to understand who he is, which is very, very important. Because, for example, like, I grew up in a black neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I grew up in the hood. You understand?
Yeah.
So every woman that I dated up until I was about maybe like 17, because when I was in high school, I dated like, you know, like a white girl and some Asian girls, whatever, like that, right? But from the time I was like, you know, 15, 16, 17 or whatever, I was, you know, seeing black girls. Then I was still talking to black girls throughout this whole entire time till I met my wife when I was 26, right? So 10 years of dating black women, right? And the only issue that I ever had was that there were women that I dealt with where we just weren't compatible. But it had nothing to do with her being black. Not one thing. You know what I'm saying? It just had to be that me and this one girl wasn't compatible. And then me and this other girl who was also black was compatible. So a lot of guys, the thing that covers their eyes is they think, oh, well, it's because she's black, I can't get along with her. No, it's you can't interact with this woman because you don't know yourself. Therefore, you're not able to attract women, period. And this woman that you can't attract just happens to be black. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, it is. You see what I mean?
And I agree with that fully because that's what it comes down to. All relationships really come down. All right, do you click or you don't click? Exactly. And sometimes you just going to click with somebody of another race. It ain't because of the race. If you met that same person, like say you click with a woman who's a white woman, all right, that's cool. But if she happened to be black but had the same general personality and quite frankly the same body build, you got some white girls out here with that fatty on them. Right. It still would have been the same situation. Because the way people interacting, you know, it's like I said, you got some white girls in the hood, other women in the hood, then you got some bougie black women. It's the class thing that's an issue, but just the class, it ain't the race thing. And it's still, as Mr. Locario rightfully pointed out, it still come down to you. Yeah, that's all it did. Don't worry about it. You change yourself. Like all these guys having problems, I guarantee they change themselves. They look for their game, their strategy. They're going to notice the women they dealing with are going to respond to them differently.
But Rom, Locario, y'all don't get it. See, y'all don't live where I live. See, over here in LA, the girls are a little bit more high sedity and kind of valley acting and everything, you know. And when I go down to Atlanta, they all like superficial and everything. And when I go to South Beach, you know, they just don't got it all up in here. This is not a shot at you Florida folks. Nah, I'm just making a point. Right. But no matter which region I go to, I just don't got no play, and these are all black women. So beat them to the punch, Locario. Does the region make a difference? Could you pull more in New York than you could in the dirty?
Nah, that's again, it's like guys, you know what's the funny part about all of this is, again, they're looking outside themselves versus understanding what's in here. See, it doesn't matter where you're at, because where you're at, you're always going to be there. So you're the common denominator.
I like that.
If you're the common denominator, it's not really the women. So what happens is this, and I say this too, is that women act differently based off of the guy that they're talking to. So like a woman, it's not like you know, a guy will meet a girl. He can meet a girl named, you know, like, I don't know, like Tamika or something. He meets Tamika and he's like, man, Tamika got an attitude. She be acting funny style, yada, yada, yada. And then another guy meets Tamika and he's like, yo, Tamika's cooperative as hell. Tamika just like straight up was about it and all this other stuff. And so it's like, you know, to me, it's the same woman, but two different responses. And the two different responses is because of, one, how the guy showing up in the situation, or just by the compatibility between those two people. So the first guy, he might just not been compatible with Tamika, and the second guy, or the first guy, because his game was weak, he didn't really know what he was doing. Tamika was like, okay, this guy sucks. And then the second guy, his game was tight and she was feeling him. So a lot of guys have to understand that they got to look at women like a mirror. I always tell guys, it's looking like a mirror. Her responses is going to tell you everything about how you're showing up in the interaction in most cases. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, because
that's what I'm talking about.
Is that because like you talk about, Rom, a lot of times you talk about, you know, the guys who are to select and the Mr. Goodbar dudes, because those guys, they get responses from women where the woman is just like about it. They're so sexually attracted to the guy, it's crazy. So he knows, he's like, yo, I know that me showing up and being in this vicinity, certain women are going to respond to me this way. So that's the reflection he's getting. He's like, yo, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just chilling and it's the and then certain guys are like, all right, cool. Well, I know my mouthpiece is tight because when I talk to this girl, I see her smiling, giggling. She's like killing me. So what she's doing is showing me what I'm doing is working out. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just a mirror. So guys have to say, if most of the time, I'm getting trouble dealing with women, and women are giving me the cold shoulder. And you got to say, okay, well, what is it about? What am I doing in this situation? You understand? Because sometimes, look, it's just y'all not compatible. She's not feeling you. That's cool. But there are other times where it's like there's something that's going on with you that's causing those situations. Because remember, you are also in the interaction. It's not just her. You're there too. You understand?
That's it. It's within you. You know, as Mr. Locario always said, the game is within you. You know, and that doesn't matter where you really go. I mean, people say different regions, but you know, when I'm traveling doing stuff, I haven't really seen a difference. But when I started traveling, when I started getting into myself, I was like, well, yeah, there's some cultural difference, some nuances regional, but at the end of the day, they still beings with vaginas. You know, it could be LA, San Diego, Atlanta, Houston, Charlotte, you know, Philly, New York, wherever.
Right.
You're going to get some attention from someplace.
Let's go ahead and stay on the whole self-improvement character area, especially when it comes to like popping at the sisters. Now, y'all already know, I told my story of like how I got down in Houston, because that's pretty much where I woke up, where I was just like, okay, yo, like the game was magnificent out there. And I'm from Cali. And then when I moved back from Houston, you know, back to Cali, the game carried on. Then I fucked up and got married. I like tripped off a rock or something and fucked up and get married and shit, you know? So, but what I did change about myself, well, of course, was my presentation. Now, before somebody, you know, says again, because you know they're going to find something wrong with this topic. They're going to find something wrong with each and every one of your points. They are. So.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, they got to find something wrong. So now that I got everything up on point, I got, you know, I'm popping at everything, but I still got the looks, money, status shit in the back of my head. These girls are turning up on social media. Now, that became the new looks, money, status to me. Like, fuck the status part. The S now stands for social media and that shit. Because men are literally really complaining about this shit. So now you have these black men who are also, you know, complaining about these black women getting all this crazy attention, and they do want to holler at them so bad. What do you got to say to the young brother, starting with you, Ron, because you got the boys already. You got sons. What are you gonna tell that black kid who likes black women about these black women on social media? What should they be paying attention to, or what shouldn't they even be bothered by?
Well, my sons don't worry about social media. Talking to women in the real world.
Right.
Like, while I was in Houston for the summit, man, my youngest man was at some girl's birthday party and stuff. So it was like, I mean, you know, I mean, social media to me is just that's a supplement now, which men should just be using in a positive sense. Because you meet a woman, get her social media, you can find out a lot about her. It's like, shoot, I mean, as you know, as a supposedly old guy, since I'm single, I meet somebody, I'm checking them out. I think I told the story. I met some woman at some department store, older woman and stuff, and I said, okay, you had to do some stuff, let's meet later on. Met her at this diner and everything. She already looked me up and everything. So it's like, just use it. But the thing was, we still met in the streets, because you still got to go outside, you still got to interact with them. Okay, fine, you seen their pictures and everything. All right, you still got to go out with them. You still got to go to a club or go on a date, or shoot, you still want to slob them down and have sex with them. I got to meet in person for that. So to me, the social media, and I tell my sons, that's just, you know, that's just a supplement. You know, it's cool. Yeah, you got your little pages and everything, but you still got to talk to them in public. And you can still meet some little, I tell them, you can still meet some little girl just walking along or something. Because, you know, my youngest son at a party, my oldest son, he just get attention like crazy. He don't be picking up on it. I'm just like, you see that girl checking you out? It's just like, you know, little girls he had went to school with or something, be like calling his name in unison and stuff. I mean, it's still, you still got to go outside. I think the social media thing is an excuse for not going outside. I just did a couch video today where I said, get off the device and go outside.
Right, exactly.
Shoot, you got to do it. You still got to interact with them. A lot of times you can still meet some women. Social media, it ain't 100%. You know, it's just part of the game now. And like, just leave it at that. makes the game easier, really.
Right.
It makes it 1,000 times easier. It's like, okay, you can find out. You don't have to guess. You can get some idea or something about them. Because trust me, the women using it to check you out. Used to be they would get your number and then just talk about you. Now the group of girls, they shoot. All of them looking at your social media. They giving a yay or a nay.
Are black women possibly making, I don't want to say making like it's intentional, but do black women have brothers feeling insecure